Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another live episode of Jacob's Ladder. I'm your host, Jacob Israel. Again, welcome my friends. I'm so happy you're here. We have so much to talk about today. This show is packed with some just eye-opening encouragement and madness. Oh, it's really going to be a fun one. I hope that you're all buckled up. You're ready to go. I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful week. Friday. Hello, Neil. Hello, Nexit. Hello, Ivana. Hello, Miss Deaniana. I got a lot of people in the live chat. Will you do me a favor? Hit that thumbs up for me so we get a lot more people here. A lot of crazy stuff's going on at the house. You know, the Capitale. At the house. You know, Mike Johnson, remember we've talked about him, done whole shows about him. When the seat was vacant for Speaker of the House, one of the things that I was talking about on the channel spiritually was like, who will speak for this generation? And I said that it was, I talked about Archangel Michael, and I talked about Christ. And I talked about who's going to speak for this generation. And it turns out we get Michael Johnson. And this guy, the first thing that he does is he starts telling everybody about, you know, his faith and how important it is and how we need God back here and God back there. And it's all up in the air. Well, people said that he was a little bit fanatical. I don't know if you in the live chat knew this, but a lot of people think that he's a little kookadoo. Especially since he, just on his last, I don't know, what was it, like yesterday or the day before? He was at some kind of an event where, you know, he was talking and he was telling everybody that God told him he's going to be Moses, that he is Moses. And he was like, oh, no, I don't want to be Moses. I thought that I was Aaron. That was the thing. God told him this. It's all right. You know, people get inspired. I wish he would say more things like, you know, I was kind of inspired to think this as opposed to like God told me. Because, you know, I pray all the time. God doesn't tell me anything audibly that I can hear. But I have ideas. And many times those ideas, they pay off. They pay off big time. And in this live show that you're at, and by the way, if you're new to the channel, welcome. You got to stick with me here. It takes me a little while to really get into it. I always save the best stuff for last. But I'm telling you something. The things that I talk about, sometimes they end up showing up. And we got more. It's like every show that I do. We got more. We got more to share. Things that we talked about now literally in the news right now. And do you know what today is? Any Catholics in the house? I used to be a Catholic back in the day. I don't judge. You know, the only church in town was St. Roch's. And it was, I used to go to this church by myself because my buddies, we have poor young kids. They were, two of them were altar boys, very Italian. So I used to go to church all the time and have these dreams. But today's the feast of the Immaculate Conception. It's a big deal. I think spiritually it's very significant. By the end of the show, you'll see why. You'll see why. And it has maybe something to do with clams. That's true. That's true. All right. So Mike Johnson, let's talk about this guy. He's all over the news. Rolling Stone said that he was at, you know, a really bad gala, but it was kind of like probably a Christian event. And he compared himself 100%. He did. He literally said that I'm Moses. That's the thing. I am. And he basically said that we're entering into this Red Sea battle, this Red Sea moment. Which is strange because, 4 or 5 days ago? I loaded this 2 days ago. But like 4 or 5 days ago, left-hand side of the screen, you'll see I said, will this trigger the big one? Showdown in the Red Sea. And then here's Mike Johnson the very next day telling everybody about the showdown in the Red Sea that he's going to help lead through. Now, it's pretty funny that he calls himself Moses because about 4 or 5 months ago, I did a show because Jim Caviezel, the actor, literally said Trump is Moses. But I think more people think that he's more like the Messiah figure. I think more people think so. So maybe Michael Johnson in his head, he is like Moses and he thinks Trump is Jesus. I'm not saying that's what he thinks, But it is what it is, right? Let's listen to this guy. Now, I was told that this audio is low. So if you have a problem hearing this, please tell me in a live chat and forgive me. It's only a minute-long clip, but I want you to listen to this just so you can get an idea and you know that I'm not making up a story. As I said, he's basically speaking aloud what I said just a couple of days ago. Let's take a listen, okay? All right, so some people are telling me the sound is good. Other people are telling me that there was no sound at all. It's sometimes if you don't hear any sound, I would recommend this happens a lot because then it freaks me out. It was like I can't hear anything, and then I think that I have an issue. Sometimes you just got to click the there's like a little audio thing. Sometimes it's muted. A lot of times YouTube will like mute it ahead of time. But isn't that interesting? Red Sea moment. Here we are. Just to remind you, I was telling everybody, the Red Sea moment is where, okay, so Israel is finally set free. We've been slaves to a system for a long period of time. God sends Moses. Moses has all these. He's like, you got to let my people go. And Pharaoh's like, no. And he says, okay, this is what's going to happen. You get all these plagues, one after the other, after the other, after the other. We've had quite a few of them, have we not? Right? Even in the last couple of years, we've had what you would consider to be plagues. Interesting. So this would be the moment when we're actually cast out of the system. And ironically, when Israel was set free from Egypt, they took a lot of Egypt's treasure with them. So that means that God kind of provided for them. But see, the problem is they think that they're in the clear, and then they're smack dab in the middle of the Red Sea. And what happens? Pharaoh in Egypt's coming barreling down. You thought you were free? You thought that you were free? We're gonna put an end to you. But what does God do? Moses raises up the staff. Sea is parted. These obstacles that stand in our way, they're moved out of the way, and then we come across it like as if on dry land, just like Jesus walked on the water. They basically walked, there was no water. God moved the water. These are things that we go through. It's very symbolic. Things that we go through that seem to be something that will hinder us, that like we can't go further. I'm telling you, by the end of this show, you're going to see how we're going further. This is it. This is it. I have so many things to talk to you about. I wish that I probably could have recapped it for you for some of you that are coming in, but you can go back and you can watch the beginning of the show if you miss it. You'll notice the bottom right-hand corner, it says Sound of Edom. I kind of twisted that around because at the time there was that movie, Sound of Freedom, that was going on. But Edom is very significant because it's kind of like, you could say like the carnal kingdom, okay? So long story short, what I mean to tell you is, we're going to pray. We're going to hope that these people are on our side, but perhaps God's using them and maybe they're not the most, divine in nature. Maybe they're going to do some bad stuff. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go, but I do know that we're at a moment right now where we are the world, the way it is, it's over. There's going to be, I've been saying for a long time, there's a change of leadership going on and it's instrumental, but I've also encouraged all of you and reminded you, going back when the virus of the crown was, when I said, oh, the rainbow, Noah, right? The rainbow's coming, the rainbow's coming. Did those shows, and then like after I did that show, a couple of days later, a literal rainbow showed up at the Ipswich replica of Noah's Ark. We got Noah's Ark is in the news. It was like archaeologists supposedly discovered it just recently. Who heard about Noah's Ark? Tell me in the live chat if this is something a couple of people wanted me to cover it. You know, I understand Noah's Ark to be something a little bit different, but it is what it is. Everybody's got their everybody's got their ideas, right? He thinks he's Moses. Strange. But rainbows it's a sign of God's covenant. And it's like, now I feel like the rainbow is here. Like now God is going to act. Like where before I was saying, oh, the rainbow's coming, the rainbow's coming. But then we had all of this strange stuff. Remember we had that rainbow bridge. The thing that went down upstate New York near Niagara Falls, which happened 11/22 on 11/22, which was strange because the day before, if you look in the middle of the screen, the Donut and I, one of my shows, I was on his show and then I re-aired it. There's the dollar bill with the 11/22. Everything was 11/22. It was all so strange, right? And I shared that day, you probably remember me sharing a picture of the rainbow that I had in my hand before all the news broke. And I said, here, take it, take your medicine, take the rainbow. It was like God was about to, bring about this fulfillment of this promise that he made. He's going to bring the rainbow, which, by the way, it doesn't mean that we're scot-free. A rainbow usually happens when the rain stops. But then afterwards, it's like you got to do the cleanup crew has to come and clean up. It's like it's going to be ugly when it's all said and done. Who's going to be around to clean up the mess? I think Elon actually pinned that on his X account. I think he put up something about friendship. It's ironic. I wasn't even thinking about that, but that's basically what ended up happening after the flood. Noah and his family, they probably had to deal with a lot of stuff to get things going, but Noah planted a vineyard. And then he ended up getting drunk because I'm telling you, he probably had like a lot of Pinot Noir. He was probably, I don't know what it is. All right. So listen, the rainbow also, I had put out a video. Who saw the video that I did on X? By the way, if you're not following me on X, you should. It's the only platform I could say this to the credit of whatever leadership's over there running the show. Probably, I think it's robots, probably Grok running the show, making all the decisions. But so far, it's like I'm not really held back or censored here. Like I post stuff on Facebook and, maybe 5 people see it out of the thousands of people that are supposedly interested in what I have to share. But on X, if you do, it's Jacob Israel 71. Share a lot of stuff there. And a year ago, this is weird because I wanted to just talk about the rainbow, how I had shared something about a bunch of whales, a very big, an account was sharing these whales that were, they were blowing up the water through their spouts. I don't know what they're called. And they were making these rainbows. It's really beautiful. They're blown rainbows, blowing rainbows. And so I shared that and I said that this is a symbol of God's covenant, another promise. And then it was like, I don't know, like 9 hours later, then Elon tweets out a picture of the rainbow. It's the lower left-hand corner of the screen of the rainbow that showed up at Tesla Palo Alto. So once again, it's like, it's just very strange. Now, that thumbnail that you see from 3 years ago, that was the original video, a revelation of Noah in 2020. The flood has come. And I was telling everybody that right now everything's spooky because at the time it was the height of the virus of the crown. It was before the wackadoo and everything else. But it is what it is. And here we are now, and hopefully the rainbow is something that we can count on. That's great. So he shares this picture of the rainbow, and I'm thinking, this is good. This is good. But when I went up and I looked up my rainbow stuff, and I typed it 11/22, I found a post that I put out exactly a year earlier. And I wrote, today, 11/22/22, will be a big day. I feel it. An earth-shattering wake up and open your eyes moment. Buckle up, watch, pray up, worship God today. Even back then. And I shared something, an article from upstate New York, which is strange. Strange. That day, by the way, last year, there was an earthquake, 7.0 earthquake. So it was literally an earth-shattering and earth-shaking day. But I think, because I found that I've shared things maybe a year ago, and it seems like all of a sudden now, things that I've done about a year ago now they're kind of happening today. So it's interesting that I see this post where I said something huge is going to happen, and then something huge did happen. And then we had something even bigger that just happened, 11/22. It's significant, and it has to do with the Rainbow Bridge. I have a whole show on that. You can go back and check it out. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but it's important. It's important because I want to remind everybody that this is a covenant. God doesn't break contracts. You know, I was telling a friend. When I say by friend, I mean somebody who watches the channel, and I was just encouraging them, and I was reminding them that, you know, what God promises, God fulfills. So if God wants something to be done, it's going to be done. How, you know, it gets done, we are too kind of, you know, naive to understand all the ramifications of these things. And sometimes God will use unsavory people to do it. This has been my problem because I know that the future is going to be riddled with people that are unsavory. Unsavory indeed. Time is up. Just like Just Arizona's saying that you can't. I hope that everybody can hear. Okay. I'm just going to keep going pretending that I can. It's been a, you know, as long as the show doesn't freeze on me, I think we're good. Because that happens too. Speaking of freezing, everybody's freezing right now. The deep freeze, it's on, right? I did a show, just a couple of days ago, December 2nd, Frozen, about the private jets that froze on that runway. That was something else. And if you look at the news, because, you know, it was like in that video I had been talking about, and I shared an earlier live stream that I did. I'd been talking about how I felt like, you know, all of media was somehow kind of telling us, get ready, everybody's going to be frozen. Ghostbusters movie, you know, I think it's like Frozen Empire. It's about like some evil spirit that everybody freezes because of fear. And isn't that exactly kind of what is going down? Like every day of the week, no matter where you are. It's like something to get you all spooked out, freaked out about. But this show will get you excited. Even if you're in, you know, Anchorage, which got the worst snow like ever. And this is from yesterday. And Siberia is like frozen over. Thank you, Rhonda Peterson, for the super chat. Rhonda Peterson always comes on here, calls me, I'm the favorite meatball. That's right, meatball. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to put this on because speaking of frozen, if you want to get you know, if you don't want to be too cold, this, am I putting it on right? Let's go. I don't ever look good in hats. If you could get this, the meatball hat. All the links are in the description of the video for all the merch and everything else. But, you know, it's Danielle says it's going to be a really bad winter. I say, rebuke you. I don't want the worst snow by far. I don't want to hear about more and more heavy rainfall and snowfall and all sorts of things. Like right now in Australia, the news is there's something going on. There's like a big, I think it's like a cyclone that's like barreling down. ZCs, thank you very much. Oh, is that Zoraida? Is that you, Zoraida? Zoraida is you want to check out a cool, she's just a wonderful person I've known back going in college. Oh my goodness. All right. God bless you. Happy Turkey Day and whatever if I missed you. So we got all of this stuff. Siberia's freezing over. First heavy snowfall hits Eastern Europe. They say Eastern Europe's like, it's never been like this. It's going to be covered in snow. They showed maps. Everything looked frozen. Which is interesting because that's exactly what I said you would start to see. I did. You could leave a comment and say, we remember you did this like a month ago or so. I was telling everybody who listens, you know, who listens. All right, let me just show you so you know that I'm not making up stories. I'll just, let me pull this up, get rid of that. Pew. Oh, here's Speaker of the House. Let me play this too, because this is, you know, this is the Trumpster. This is a great one. Look at that, 11. Exactly 1 minute and 10 seconds. I just want to play this right here for you. This is, I was reminding Speaker Johnson that Trump's supposed to be Moses. All right, listen to this.
He's gonna, last night. This is the new Moses. I mean, I'm still Jesus, but he's the new Moses. Pharaoh, let my children go free.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. So I'm taking on China. I'm taking on China on trade. And you know what? We're winning.
In the midst of the 3 weeks, which is the time of the mourning of the destruction of the temple, we generally do not have live music. However, in honor of this prestigious event and the attendance of President Trump, we have determined that live music accompanying the anthems would be befitting of this occasion.
Love you, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Please read it. Okay.
Give thanks.
Give thanks to Hashem, for his work is good, his kindness endures forever. Presented to President Donald J. Trump for his extraordinary...
That, by the way, that's a big deal right there. That's the crown of Jerusalem. That's like literally crowning the king. Like the king, just so you know.
Heroic efforts, I like that very much. To help the state of Israel and the Jewish people. He and his family should be blessed eternally. From the Israel Heritage Foundation, July 10th, 2023. I want to...
He's gonna, last night. This is the new Moses. I mean, I'm still Jesus, but he's...
All right, so anyway, speaking of Frozen, here we go, right? I'm glad I'm still here. So I do this whole thing, you know? And after I do it, that night, look what ends up happening. The last logo reveal he put out, by the way, was it looked like it was covered in snow. I didn't make a big deal out of it at the time. But this one right here, this new and improved logo, tell me this isn't telling the world that, like, the deep freeze is coming. Like, winter is here. Winter is here. You know, if you watch the Game of Thrones, you understand that this is... Doesn't that look cold and uninviting? To me, it does. But it's not the first time. I mean, so this was the video that I did, you know? This was something that, you know, I don't want to play too much of it here. Let me just
ultrasonic
and skip this ad. Okay. But you can see some of the things, Frozen Empire, you know, because remember in Iceland, what happened in Iceland? That was the dead giveaway, was the stuff that happened in Iceland. Now we have the sun is like just spouting off all sorts of stuff. So I had a feeling that, you know, they were going to try to, I don't know, just continue to tell us how bad things were. And, well, my goodness, it seems like the news is starting to make it sound like we're in for a very terrible winter. But I say no. I say I'll be fine. And I want to remind everybody, by the way, that when those dark days came, the dark winter, right? 3 days of darkness. This is one of the plagues. When those dark days came, did you know who had light in their house? All of the Israelites. All of the people that were doing good, the people that were serving God, all of them, they had the light in the house. They had the power, they had the heat, they had it all. When the darkness came, it was just the house of Egypt. So I'm telling you, trust. If you're a good person and you want to be a good person, and I always tell everybody it's never too late, you know, to pray, to ask God for the truth, no matter what the cost, never too late. You want to have that light, you know, you want to make sure that you're not going to be frozen in fear for the rest of your life. With all of this news, you would think that we're going to be literally frozen. But I disagree. Unless, of course, you believe that you're in the Matrix and things are just freezing for no apparent reason. Who heard about the chickens? Did anybody tell me if you saw the chickens that were frozen? It's become news. It's like this has become the news now. CNN was just covering the chickens. Let me pull this up so you can just get an idea. So strange, because once again, we were just talking about the glitches in the Matrix and everything else with 1122 and the Rainbow Bridge. So let's just play this. She's having a good old time with her chickens, and then they just freeze. They don't move. They're running around. Everything was great. And they just froze. So she's basically telling everybody that she was in panic mode, that it was very strange, and out of the blue, then what happens? They just start running away. Once she calls her what was it? I think it was her fiance or her husband. It may have been her fiance. And then you said the release word. Let's see what it was. I believe that it was her, I don't know, whoever. Yeah, there it is. Her fiance. Now that's why it's important. That's why I wanted to play this clip. I totally planned for this. I didn't plan for it, but it hit me. Fiance, you're about to be married. See the significance of that. Frozen in fear, but the bridegroom, right? You got your husband-to-be calling for the husband-to-be, and he sets the chickens free. The reason why they say that the chickens froze like that was because there was like a predator in the area. I think that, but we've seen this happen. We've seen this happen with dogs and everything else too. So it's not just the chickens. There's a lot of things that just are weird. If you haven't seen my last video, it was a Mandela Effect video, which was a lot of fun. A lot of it was all the holidays, like the Christmas jingles that we all thought we knew. Turns out we knew them wrong. Doesn't matter if you were Carolyn. Doesn't matter. Go back and watch that Mandela Effect video if you can. And by the way, how to navigate the pages. When you go to my homepage, there are categories. It says videos, live, shorts, stuff like that. Playlists. So you just click the category. A lot of people say, I don't know where that video is. And it's because it's very difficult to navigate. I wish that they would change it. But, reality's changing enough. So I guess we're just going to have to deal with it. Who here got Grok? Did anybody get Grok? That's the big news. Grok, by the way, if you don't know, and once again, I have a video on this. Ironically, let me blow this up so you just see it. I actually, I think I got Grok's look right too, because that's the video that I did about 4 weeks ago. Something strange about Elon's AI assistant Grok. Is this the image of the beast? And then I explained really what all that means. But he shared a post with Grok on a throne. I shared a golden Grok on a throne as well. Earlier, I think they had the same vibes. I think they're same vibes. I'm not calling that something that's interesting, but I think that they have the same vibes. But you probably heard about the Gemini AI, the Gemini Ultra AI, which, by the way, had something else, Monarch Ultra, trending. Yeah, because of Elon's post. Everything's for him. He's a guy, he's got like a billion people that follow him. But the Gemini 1, Sundar put this out. It's the most capable general AI model yet. Its performance exceeds current state-of-the-art results of 30 of the 32 widely used benchmarks with a score of 90%, which is strange. Some people are saying that Gemini's AI demo was fabricated. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, Ars Technica put out that article today that it was a fabricated video. But this is all the rage. Gemini is all the rage. But I mean, are you starting to see that this is like Terminator? This is what we're doing. You got AI wars going on. Who's going to be the dominant AI? I don't know. I think we're already being dominated by AI. But, we got a lot of other interesting news happening. This is 2023. It's the end of 2023. At the beginning, in 2022, I did we'll say like a prediction show. It was really more of a hope-filled show. I'm looking at the world and I'm saying, oh, this is where we possibly could be in a year. A lot of the stuff, I'm going to do a video kind of showing you how it all happened. A lot of the stuff happened, which is strange. And I found another one today that happened. I didn't even know. I was looking up something else because you know what's going on with the laptop, right? Who knows about, the laptop? I started doing shows. I didn't even know. I did this one show. Man, it was must have been almost like 3 years ago or something. And I had, Joseph Robinette, a robin's net, a bird net, Biden our time. I had a picture of him. He had like a laptop that was all shot up. I didn't even know why I put it on there. It was just a weird thing because I was talking about a article that I wrote in like 2000 something, many years ago, 2015, about this strange thing that was going to happen at a domed building. And there was this laptop that was the person who was carrying it. I had thought that it was something that was going to be very explosive, and they said it was a bong. Like, if you're a pothead, you'd have one of those bongs. And I said, no, that's a laptop. But now I understand because, Hunter is synonymous with illicit, drug use, it seems. So it would make sense. So because of all of that, I started doing all these shows. Over 2 years ago, the one to the right, God has spoken, a corrupt leader is going to be replaced. Mene tekel upharsin, which was what was written on the wall. And it's an interesting thing because I've said this on the show many times. Hey, Bobby James just got home from work. Double O's in the house. Everybody's in the live chat. You got to we got a lot of people watching. We got a lot, we could use more thumbs ups if you don't mind. If you do it like right now, we could do that. That would be nice. All of this stuff I said, you watch 2023. I said this was going to be the year, right? Lauren Sawyer, she knows. She got the 111. 2023, I said this was going to be the year. We were going to see a lot of corruption revealed. I actually even put out a hashtag, and I think it was 2022, if they be corrupt, which is, I'm putting that hashtag out a lot. Look at the news, the top 10 news for this week from Tara Bull. Biden's been indicted, 9 charges. The judge dismisses the case to remove Trump from the ballot. Facebook, Instagram, they've now been called people that enable the most horrible things possible that you can do to another human being. Mike Johnson tells the administration, guess what? No more. We're not going to send any more until there's some major, major changes happening at the border and all. We want some oversight. We want to know where this money's going. Biden's like, you need to send this money right now. Hey, you, it's a crane. We need to send the money right now. Johnson, Speaker of the House, says, nope, ain't gonna happen. So, I mean, the list of things that are happening and the list of, even Tucker just had, AJ on his show. And now there's the big push to get him back. And it looks like he's going to be back on the X platform. It's interesting. Kind of just like I said, it was I did say that you were going to see everybody back. Everybody was going to be revealed to be in the right, And this whole thing with Hunter, it's not over yet. There's the oversight committee says that the whistleblowers, they wanted a bigger investigation, but they were blocked at every way. But I don't know if you've noticed. There is a lot of stuff happening and a lot of stuff is being revealed. It's 2023. Interesting. Interesting. So let me show you just some of the, I just want to show you this one thing. Just so maybe you can even go back and watch this video. Oh, hang on a second. I have to pull it up. I must have gotten rid of it somehow. This video right here, it should be on my home page. This is probably a good way to show you how to navigate. So you go to the home page, you see home, videos, shorts, and on the home page, if I click on it, usually there's a video that pops right up, but it's not there now, which is suspect because I wanted to show you it. Let me see if I can find it another way. I'm sorry about that, folks. That's so strange. Lisa Gordon, thank you, 1111. Whew. Yeah, so let's see if I can find this show. Give me 1 second. It was at the head of the year. So it would be not 2 years ago. Take a look at this right there. Speaking of Gemini, Apollo and Artemis. There you go. You're going to be, I have a little thing. That's what I can pull up for you while I'm doing this. I want to show you this. I had this idea the other day. So on X, and this is me on X one more time. On X, you will see I share a lot on here, okay? I had this little, by the way, that's Cosmo. This was Cosmo when I was working yesterday, getting the show ready for everybody. Leanne Bradley put this out about how they've never seen this, since 2010. So you can really see that there's something going on with this. Here we go. I said, this is a test. Somehow Truth Social and X will partner to become the Chi-Rho, just because. And I don't know if you know what the Chi-Rho is. That's that symbol with the X, and it's the cross. It's a symbol of the cross. But let me see if I can pull this up. I'm so disappointed that this was lost. It's so strange. Because it's really interesting. Like, I went back and I couldn't actually believe the coincidence. And if I can't see it right now, there's something really up. There's something up, and it's where is this show? So strange. I guess you're going to have to all just take my word for it, I guess. What a bummer. It's usually right on the homepage. It's like the very first video that pops up. Very first video that pops up, but then I guess when you're live, that first video is not shown. So, all right, well, hey. Just take my word for it. I said this was going to happen. I did. I said to buy the laptop, but I also talked about it. We were going to hear about another invasion. And I also talked about fertility. I said fertility was going to be a big thing in 2023. I said they were going to start sounding the alarm. I said world leaders were going to start freaking out. You're going to have to go back to my homepage and watch that video. I apologize. I guess maybe it's when I'm live, I guess maybe that video goes away. Never had that happen before, but I guess it is what it is. But yeah, I said fertility was going to be a big issue, and it is a big issue. Like right now, fertility is like everywhere. We had Kim himself crying, crocodile tears in front of all the women. He was like, you need to have more babies. You need to please. And he said, we're going to do what we can to help you. We're going to do what we're going to find ways. We're going to incentivize you. He is so stressed out because, if you have your declining death rates, you don't got anybody else to rule. What ends up happening? Then what happens is all of civilization kind of goes kaput. Isn't that right, AJ? It goes kaput. AJ, it's your 33rd birthday. Happy birthday today. This is at 33. You know what happens? 33 and a half. It's when Christ is crucified, but that just means resurrection's coming. But happy birthday. 33 is a great number. It's really when you get just a ton of insight, a ton of insight and revelation. But Kim crying, he's not the only one. Japan's out of they're just out of their minds worried about all this. This is not something that you would think we'd be facing. But these declining birth rates and the aging population is not bueno, as they say. It's not good. Italy's having problems. U.S., we were down by, we're like teetering. And now scientists are shedding light on the mystery, because this is a mystery. This is a mystery to these people. I think it's not a mystery, considering the people that really want to be in charge think we got too many people here. Remember Mr. Gates and his famous thing where he's like, well, if we get everybody, to get the wackadoos, we could reduce the population by like 10%. He literally said that. I think he may mean it in a different way. I don't think that. But let's maybe he just misspoke, right? Freudian slip, as they say. But fertility is an issue. It was in the video. I totally forgot that I talked about it. I said that they were going to start sounding the alarm, and they are. They are. This is when, there's that expression, just calm down. I came up with an expression for just calm down. It's clam it. Clam it. Little while ago on X, like I say, I put out these little things where I'll just get these vibes. I'll see something and I won't make too much notice of it. Something that'll just, come my way and it'll strike my curiosity. And then I'm like, if I see it again, I know to say something. So what happened was I saw this just weird thing with a clam out of the blue. And then somebody else tried to say calm, but wrote clam. And I said, I think everybody's going to start seeing clams everywhere. I did. Let me show you the post so you know I'm not lying. Top left-hand corner, it says, this is a test. Bottom left-hand corner, this is a test. We will soon be seeing clams everywhere. That is all. And I put out a little gif of a clam and the clam tongue was like going crazy. Like as if he was like possessed or something. Just kind of with the googly eyes. It was very funny. And there's a really cool channel, account on X, Biff Tannen, who's a very funny guy. Really very risque, pushes the envelope. But he's been following all these little tests and he goes, okay, this is something. Right now there's no clams anywhere. He's like, I don't see clams nowhere. He went was researching clams to see if I was playing some silly games. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a meatball. You can be a meatball too. This is going away after in January. After January, it's going away. So get yourself it now. You get it for the holidays. It'll show up and you can give it to people as gifts. I'm giving it to all my children because they're all meatballs too. And it just means don't take yourself too seriously. Put your faith in God. That's it. So I put this little test out and then I just started sharing one thing after another about clams. Clams this, clam this. There was a great documentary about how the storm Idalia wiped out the clam population and covered all these clams with so much silt and so much mud. And it was so terrible that majority of the crop failed. Put that video on X. There was another thing about a clam. Then, because I kept looking, right? Then Newsweek puts out this article. Clams may hold the secrets to a longer life. Now, I was explaining to everybody why the clam I thought was, why I thought that we'd start to see it. Because the clam is like an oyster, same thing. They're both, what are they called? Mollusks? Is that it? I need Ethan with me. He's my youngest. I have 4 children, by the way, if you don't know this. 23, 22, 20, and 13. Well, 12. I say he's 13 because I take him to the gym. He works out with me. We went to the gym. He's only 12. But I think you got to be 13. They didn't really ask. But okay, so he's 12 and we play basketball. I shouldn't be lying. I know. But I mean, he's a very mature kid for his age. So on the 3rd, they put out this article. Clams hold the secret to a longer life. And I had explained to everybody that the clam, it's like the oyster, it's a symbol of the kingdom of God. It's actually a symbol of us, we're the clam. Because if we're the oyster, what happens, right? We get this irritation. We get this torment. It's called torment. That's the word in the scriptures. When you read that, every name that's not written in the book will be tormented forever and ever. People think that it reads, whoever's, not going to my church and saying the magic words they gave me to say, will be tortured endlessly and endlessly and endlessly, which is way too many endlesslys. But really that word ever, aeonos, it means a period of time. Age, ages. So those whose names, that word name means nature. There's a little bit of a little Bible lesson for you. So, the nature, because you're supposed to baptize in the name of Christ, right? The nature of Christ, love, power, wisdom, truth, all that stuff. So to immerse people in that. The name that's not written in the book of life. So any nature in you, like hate, prejudice, greed, lasciviousness, whatever like nature's in you that's not written in the book of life. Okay? In the word of life, in God's spirit. It's not written. It's not anything that's in you that's not of God, but of this world, will be tormented forever and ever, will be tested for an age and ages, for a period of time. And the word torment is what the oyster goes through. It's suffering. The suffering of the oyster creates the pearl. So it gets like a granule sand or whatever in there, and it's uncomfortable. So then the oyster creates this mucus that covers it. And then what happens is then the pearl gets hard and it starts to feel like a stone, so it has to cover it again. And that's why they come out all so smooth and everything else. And there was like a Tron pearl that was just discovered. That was insane. It was like this silver thing. It looked like it was something out of a movie. All of a sudden, all this clam stuff. But it's a symbol of the kingdom of heaven. It's kind of like our life, because of the things that we endure, it's going to create this beautiful pearl. And what are the gates of heaven made out of? This is Revelation. Get ready. Pearl. Pearls. The gates. What gets you in is the beautiful thing that comes of your suffering. The gates of heaven itself made of pearl. So, pretty cool. Especially since clams are in the news. Especially since the world's oldest pearl was just discovered. Clam it. Clam it. What are the odds, right? What are the odds? Now you can live forever. Should we say hi to the Dan? She's calling me right now. We should probably, I'm going to put her on speaker. She doesn't know that, she doesn't know I'm live right now. Hi, honey bear. Say hi to everybody. I'm live.
Hi.
This is the Dan, everyone. This is my beautiful wife. She's coming home from a hard day of work. All right, so I got to go now. But I love you so much.
Love you too.
I'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye.
All right. Bye.
She's my best buddy. She's so beautiful, Dan. She's so beautiful. She's my best friend. She has been a torment to me too. She, there's like things, she like smoothed out my rough edges. All the things that come against us in life that everybody thinks is so terrible, sometimes God puts them there. God places them there because you got a name that's not written in the book of life. You got a nature in you that needs to be revealed. People at work bother you. And then what do? You go behind their back and you tell on them, and then you get them in trouble. They get rid of them. Next thing you know, they leave. Then you get another person does the same thing because you did the wrong thing. You should have loved that person, forgiven that person. You ever wonder why, you'll have one issue and then you think that issue's over and then you got the exact same issue with another person? It's because you're being tormented again and again and again. You don't get to say magic words and then that's it. No. Christ in you, it's being formed like a pearl. That's why it's called Paul, the Apostle Paul. He says, I labor, I travail. I travail as Christ is being formed in you, like a pearl. Clam it. This is the day we're in, where that pearl is going to be discovered again, where that clam is going to be resurrected. The clam, which gives you longer life. I'm talking eternal life, people. And again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant seeking goodly pearls, who when he found one pearl of great price, what did he do? Anybody know? What did he do? He sold everything he had just to maintain it, just to keep it, just to possess that one amazing pearl. You get rid of everything that you think is important in your life that isn't. Every nature that's not written in the book of life, you sell. You get rid of it. You get rid of it. You clam it. And clam, let me just show you this Adalia thing, if I have it. I may not have it, but yeah, I definitely don't have it. I got rid of it. All right. Do you know, this is weird, right? Because sometimes, you know, a lot of people will be like, oh, how does this stuff come to you? And how do you put it all together? A lot of times it's, you know, I have no idea what I'm doing and it just happens. And I go, whoa, that's a coincidence. You know, that's a coincidence. It's a strange coincidence. And there is a really weird coincidence about this clam. And I should remember this because my nanny, God rest her soul, she passed many years ago. My poppy, because my mother she was 18 when she was pregnant. She had me when she was like about turning 20. You know, single mom. My biological father, who I never met, he died. I'm John's son. John, his name is John. And so I live with my grandparents. And the backyard, right, there was a fence in the backyard. It was housing. He was in Korea, and there was like they sold all these houses for very, very cheap to you know, people that came back from the Korean War. Right on the backyard was a project called Adam's Garden. That's no joke. You can look up in Stamford, Connecticut, Adam's Garden. That was my backyard growing up for 6 years. I lived with the nanny and the pop, but they were very devout Catholics, you know. And she had this Mary, like, sculpture that was in one of her gardens. It's like every Italian family has it. And it's always in a clamshell. And I never put two and two together. Never put two and two together. Mary inside the clamshell. I do this whole spiel about the clam and the oyster, it's us, and that we're inside, and the pearls are, and that's literally Mary, the Immaculate Conception, which is today, the feast day, right inside of the clam. So strange. Now, some people will say the reason why the Catholic Church did that because it's the clam, you know, can be derogatory for female anatomy. I don't like when people say that. But I will say that I did not share one article about a scuba diver who decided to, you know, make sweet love to a huge clam and ended up in intensive care. I don't know if you saw that article, but I almost posted it and said clam it, but I didn't want to, like, you know, minimize the beauty of this wonderful moment that we're in, where I feel like we're going to see clam everywhere and we're seeing it. And then the news hits today. The news hits today that the clams are making a comeback in Croatia, you know? While everyone yesterday was talking about, is there going to be another, you know, Pearl Harbor? There's going to be another one of those. That was what everybody was talking about. But once again, the Pearl. Very interesting. Very interesting. But there's the old Virgin Mary. The Virgin Mary and the clam. Mary on a clamshell. That's what somebody sent me today. But clams are making a comeback from extinction. Now, I know that maybe this does not seem like this is anything that's very interesting to you. To me, it is very interesting. Because out of the blue, I just felt like clams are going to become a thing. Now they're made number one food source. They're like looking at clams to be helping with people that are starving. They supposedly help you live a longer life, that they're filled with all this stuff that they just can't believe it. All of this stuff about the clam. Interesting. And then I find out today is the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. Now, basically it's a day where Mary gets pregnant with the Messiah. That's right, the Son of God. Now, I know you've heard the story told that Mary was a virgin and that, but I would like to point out a couple of things, and I'm not discounting it. First of all, the word wasn't virgin, it was maiden. In the Strongs, it's just a maiden who is ready to be married, has a fiance. That's what the word means. It's just translated as virgin, because sometimes it can also be used as someone who has not had relations. But mainly the word virgin, let me see if I can blow this up so you can see what I'm talking about. This is from the Strongs, and you'll see a maiden on the bottom by implication. Also, if you look at theirs, it says a marriageable maiden. So that's the very first definition. Then the second one would be also that. And then the most important one is someone who's abstained from all uncleanliness, idolatry. That's what that term really is supposed to mean. It's supposed to mean that you've become like a virgin. You've become pure. This is why they were the saints. They were all given new gowns. You know, we're filthy rags, but then we're given this beautiful white gowns, pristine, because we've been made clean. We've been made pure. We've been made as a virgin ready on her wedding day. This is Mary. But the story of Mary is your story too. I've explained on the show. Names have meaning. I don't know how many names. I see a Michael in there. Michael means who is like God. Every name has meaning. Every name has meaning. Mary in Greek means man's rebellion. Christ is literally birthed out of man's rebellion from God. That's interesting, right? Because man did rebel. So what did God have to do? He had to send his spirit in the likeness of sinful flesh. We're sinful flesh. He had to send his spirit into all of us. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. He was the light of all men, especially those that believe, it says. Interesting. Had to do this. So the story of Mary, I mean, and once again, I'm not saying it didn't literally happen. I believe there was a Mary. I believe there was a Joseph. I do find it interesting that the genealogies that were shared in the scriptures, which is in the book of Matthew, like if you go to the book of Matthew, these are called the Gospels in the New Testament. If you don't know what the Bible is, they're the two books, Old Testament, New Testament. In the New Testament, you have these Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Matthew starts off, here, I'll show you top one right there. It has a genealogy. And if you look at the top, it says Matthew 1, 16 and 17. That's towards the end because he starts off basically with Adam, kind of, you know. I think he starts with Abraham in this one. But Jacob is actually Joseph's father. And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. So all the generations from Abraham to David, David to being carried away to Babylon, 14 generations, and from the carrying of Babylon unto Christ, 14 generations. So in Matthew, I'm pointing this out because there's another breakdown in Luke. In Matthew, it goes through Joseph. The genealogy of Joseph, which is interesting. Because if you were to do a genealogy of, say, me, you probably wouldn't include my stepfather. You would probably include my blood relative. Also, there is a lot of suspicion around the fact that other pagan beliefs had virgin birth stories. Other goddesses were born miraculously. But let me tell you something. The birth of Christ is miraculous. And the revelation and the birth of Christ in all of us, even more so, as we become the body of Christ, the mind of Christ. We're given the name of Christ. So you got these two different genealogies. One goes through Mary in the book of Luke. One goes through Joseph. Very strange. But the Immaculate Conception idea, which is this is a Catholic holiday for those who want to know, is the idea that like Mary basically was sinless at the moment of conception. There's a lot of debate over that, right? Because, you know, of course, nobody's without sin. None of us know it all either, you know? It's a thing. All right, so listen. I wanted to just share a little bit, if it's okay, because I got most of the stuff that I wanted to get out of the way. I want to share a little bit of this story of Mary, but in a way you've never seen it before. I'm going to tie it to you. And I wrote this essay. Now, this is my website. This is jacobisrael.com. You can go subscribe there. It's free. And, you know, I've written over the years, for whatever reason, I was on a kick. I wrote so many articles, okay? And one of the articles that I wrote has something to do with, it's called The Virgin Birth, okay? So this one is the birth of Christ. You see, it's back from 2011. I've been at this a long time. So just by looking at the story, okay? And what I'm going to do is, instead of showing it to you, okay, actually I wasn't showing it to you. Hang on, let me show it to you. All right, I'll just show it to you. And there you go. There's the 2011. That's my website. Okay, let me just come back down to where we were. And I just want to break this down a little bit. And if you don't mind me reading. So this is in Luke. In the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to the city of Galilee in Nazareth, named Nazareth, okay? Now, 6 is the number of man. An angel, by the way, is not just a literal angel, but it would be like, the word translates into like message or messenger or man. But many times an angel could be inspiration. Sent from God unto the city of Galilee. Galilee is a place that's an unbroken circuit, okay? And an unbroken circuit needs someone to break it. Nazareth means someone who is separated from the womb, you know, separated from the world. A Nazarite would cut off, you know, he would grow his hair long because he was separate from the ways of the world. So if you put Mary, Joseph, and Jesus of Nazareth together, you got Mary means man's rebellion, Joseph means God is added, Jesus means God is salvation, Nazareth. So God is added to man's rebellion, salvation. So God has put salvation and delivered them and separated them from the ways of the world. That's the day we're in. It's the day when the clam opens up and the pearl is found, that pearl of great space. Now, a virgin espoused to a man named Joseph of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary. Now, as I explained, it's just a woman of marrying age or someone who's prepared themselves for the things of God. Marriage, one who's prepared, the literal definition, a marriageable maiden, one who is prepared and ready for marriage, to leave father and mother. Leave father and mother. Isn't that beautiful? So the virgin was espoused, meaning promised to be married to what God has added. Okay? Become one with it. To become one with what God added. What God placed inside. And the angel came to her and said, "Hail, you are highly favored. The Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women." The message of truth, remember that's what an angel is, came in onto her. The her is, in this story, symbolic of man's rebellion. So man's soulish nature. The message of truth came to man's soulish nature and said, "You are highly favored. God is with you. Blessed are you, even though things are hard." You see what I'm getting at here? It's beautiful. It also pertains to us. And when she understood this, because that's what the word saw means in this passage, when she saw him, she was troubled. When she perceived this, she was troubled, it is saying, and cast her mind as to what manner of salutation this should be. It's troubling. It's troubling when you actually understand that God is with you, that God's taking care of you. And it's like, am I supposed to believe this? Am I supposed to believe what Jacob's telling me? Am I supposed to believe that I'm highly favored when I'm going through everything I'm going through? Are you kidding me? It's what the story says. This mystery, by the way, which is Christ in you. This is what the message says. God is with you. And the angel said to her, "Fear not, Mary, for you've found favor with God. Behold, you will conceive in your womb, and you will bring forth a son, and you shall call him Jesus." Jesus. Now in Adam all die, but in Christ all are made alive. She was dead in Adam till Christ shows up, the last Adam, the last man. There's the first man, there's the last man. There's the first idea, you, in the world, where you got a lot of natures, a lot of names that are not written in the book of life. And then there's the last you, the Christ in you, where the two become one. Because you were that virgin. You were the maid, right? You were the maid that was marrying age, and you had your oil. You were ready. You were prepared. So, he says, he shall be great. He shall be called the Son of the Highest. And the Lord God shall give him the throne of his father David. He shall reign over the house of Jacob forever. Thank you for that. I appreciate it, by the way. And his kingdom shall have no end. Once this happens, so basically once this happens, you're no longer in charge of your life. You're no longer in control of your life. Your life is hidden in Christ, okay? But now it becomes clear, like it's clear to Mary, the throne of God is within the temple. We are the temple, so Christ is given the wheel to take over. He's going to be great in you. He's going to rule in you. He's going to, and his rule will be forever in you. Not just talking about in the world, because that's going to happen as well. Then Mary says, how can this be, seeing I don't even know a man? And this is where we get the idea that she's talking about being a virgin. It's like, how could I possibly have a child? This is where we get the literal virgin stuff from. One day someone comes to them, someone who knows nothing about God, okay? Tells them that they are God's child. And one day, the truth of who they are will be revealed within them. They would be like, what? You get what I'm saying? They can't even comprehend this. How are you going to tell me that I'm going to give birth to the Son of God? I don't even know God. You get what I'm saying? This is the same thing that we go through when Christ starts working in our life. How is it possible? How can you say that I'm God's child? I don't even know God. That's the way a lot of people are today. And this is why this story also applies to you. And the angel answers. Listen, this is where it gets wild. The Holy Ghost shall come upon you. The power of the highest shall overshadow you. Therefore, also that holy thing which will be born within you, that pearl of great price, will be called the Son of God. What's being birthed within you is going to be called the Son of God, the child of God. So literally, everybody that's watching right now, what is going to be birthed within you is God's child. This is why Jesus said, I got to go away. Because you're all looking at me and you think that this is it. But when I go, the Comforter is going to come to you. The Holy Spirit is going to come to you. Same thing happened to Mary. See? Happens to you. There's the connection. And the power of the highest will overshadow you. This is a beautiful thing. So the messenger's saying a higher truth is going to come to you. A higher truth, the Spirit of truth, which is Christ, is going to be revealed in you. It's going to be revealed in you, and it's going to overshadow you. Did you catch that? The nature, the name of the living God, love, truth, power, joy, patience, forgiveness, is going to overshadow you. It's going to be more important to forgive somebody who hurts you. It's going to be more important to do the right thing than your hurt feelings. You're going to be overshadowed by the child of God, which is in you. This is why you can't fail. Because with God, this is the next line. Nothing shall be impossible. With God, nothing is impossible. So it doesn't matter if you, Mary, man's rebellion, or mankind have a problem with receiving the truth. You see, it doesn't matter, Mary. That's what he's saying. It doesn't matter, Mary. What manner of salutation is this? I don't even know what you're talking about. Doesn't matter, Mary. That's the good news. We can't fail. We can't fail thanks to the love of God. I think that that's pretty amazing. And Mary said, okay, fine. Behold the handmaid of the Lord. Be it unto me according to your word. Isn't that interesting? God shows up, overshadows Mary, tells Mary what's going to happen, tells Mary not to be afraid, tells Mary, blessed are you, tells Mary, you're highly favored. She's like, no, 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 no. And then at the end, she's like, behold the handmaid of the Lord. You can say that. You should say that. Behold the handmaid of the Lord. Be it according to your word. And the angel departed. Once you get it, you don't need a messenger to remind you. Clam it. That's all you got to do. All right, listen. I think that this was a fun show. I like to talk about the scriptures. I wish I could do more stuff like that. I would love for all of you to please subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you're coming on here the first time, and if you made it to the end, I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you. I want you to let me know in the comments section if you're new. I want you to let me know in the comments section if you subscribe. I'm going to come back. I'm going to look for you. Make sure to go to the description of the video. You can get yourself the meatball hats, the first thing on the list. When you go to YouTube, you just click down. You'll see description of the video. Click on it. Click on more, and it will be the first thing that comes up. You can just click on that. Truly Free Home, my sponsor, they're running a like a ho, ho, ho Christmas thing. I put the link up there too. You don't need a subscription or anything else. Just so you know, if you know anything about Truly Free, there's like no toxins. You don't have to worry about cleaning. When you clean, it cleans better than everything. Laundry smells great. It's amazing. All the stuff, it's changed my life. And it's going to change your life too. So you could check it out for like, I don't know what it is. It's like a big time offer or something that they're offering right now. Go click on the link, check it out, learn more about it. And if you want to get yourself, once again, Christmas is here for those that celebrate it. Get a copy of The Calling for your loved ones. Get a bunch of copies. Hand it out. If you can afford it, and if not, don't worry about it. And if you can't, you email me. My email's down there too, and I'll send you an ebook for free. I do it all the time when people don't have it. Don't take advantage of it. If you could afford $5, please. I could, it took me a long time to write it, and it's helpful. All right, listen, I got to go. I love you all. This has been a great day. Just clam it, everybody. Clam it. I think I'm going to get a shirt. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a shirt. Clam it. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.